If you want to feel better, make your joints feel better, here's my recovery mobility flow after a hard training session. The next day, it's going to make you feel amazing. So check it out. Yesterday, full body dynamics session. Feel pretty damn sore, like tight in areas. So what I'm going to do, like this is the type of stuff that I do on recovery days. I'd go through this, probably do some aerobic capacity work, some cardio, that 130, 150 beats per minute range for heart rate. But first I do this, and like this is also what I would call my movement hygiene, right? Stuff that you can do daily. This is gonna take a little bit longer because again, I want my body to start feeling good. And we're gonna do a bunch of different things, from static stretches, from some isometric stuff, but we're gonna start with breathing. Like this is a very, very simple one. I love the pad. You know, if you're tight in areas, it's really good to get air into that area. So for example, got some tightness here around the hips, low back. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay down on this pad and I'm gonna exhale fully. So imagine that like if I block the front, the air has to go somewhere, right? It can't go into the front, so it's gonna go in the back. So those tight tissues, we can get some air into, I would say, my belly per se, right? And it's gonna go up into my lower back. It's gonna feel a ton better. So it'll look like this. I'm gonna exhale through my mouth. Get all the air out. Inhale through my nose. So if you look closely, you'd actually be able to see my back kind of blowing up with air. So when air has nowhere to go, it'll start going this way. And I go probably like 6, 8, maybe even 10 breaths, full exhalation, full inhalation. Every breath usually you're gonna start getting more and more air going up into the back, right? And by the way, just 3 breaths of that, believe it or not, made it feel better, right? So that'll be number one. I'd start there. We're gonna move through this a little bit faster for you guys, but show everything in quite a bit of detail. Now, if you don't have like a kick squat stand, you can do this. You can do this basically against the wall, right? So think about put your foot up against the wall. I'm going to push my quad down so my ribs come down, and I'm gonna lean back, right? I'm gonna feel a big stretch here in the front. You can do a little extra kind of spiciness by pushing the foot back into the wall, slashing into the pad. So imagine for 10 seconds now, I'm gonna 10, 9, I'm pushing down, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, and I get a little more range. And what also I can do here, and I like to do here, same as I did on the pad, right? So I'm gonna exhale, get all the air out. I'm gonna inhale through the nose, deep into here, right? So I might do 3, 4, 5 breaths, push back down again for 10 seconds, relax, get more range of motion. Right, and I do that on both sides. And again, you know, how long would I do this? You know, I'm thinking like probably about a minute per side, but it depends on how much time. Like if I'm really tight, if I got more time, I'd spend more time on it. You'll quickly notice right, left, which one's tighter? Right side tighter for me for sure. So pushing down again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam, opened up a little bit more, right? So again, I'm gonna exhale. Inhale through my nose. And when you inhale through your nose, you'll feel a bigger stretch here, right? Because air is coming down there. So again. Oh, that's tight, right? Great way also to know, like, I'd probably spend more time on my right side because it's tighter than my left side. I do more breathing, I do more pels and rails pushing into the pad, right? Maybe spend a little bit more than a minute on that side. By the way, this is a great Netflix and stretch drill, right? I'm on the couch, I'm watching TV, I'm doing this drill. So I do these two. From there, I'd go into the bretzel. So it's still one of my favorite drills because you can do, not only open up the hips, but open up that upper back. So I just use the foam roller to give myself some neck support. You can do this with pillows. And so watch me kind of like from the side setup, right? I'm gonna grab my ankle, I'm gonna push my knee down, and I'm gonna create some tension, meaning I'm gonna try to bring the leg up and try to kick out of this position, right? But I'm gonna hold and resist it. So for 5 seconds, I'm pushing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm gonna exhale and rotate my upper back and just bring it back, right? And I can inhale through nose, exhale, try to get a little bit more rotation. Going back, inhale, and you can see how I'm getting more range of motion. Again, inhale. And rotate, right? Same thing, 6 to 8 breaths, 6 to 8 rotations, one side, 6 to 8 the other side. And again, if you feel tighter on one side, I would actually just hang out in this position. I'll come back to it. Like, let's say my 8th breath, I'm over here. I would just hang out here and keep breathing, right, on that tighter side, so we kind of get a little more. And the reason why we do so much with, I would say, the breathing is because, guess what? You know, kind of air in the thorax controls our rotation. So if I exhale, I'll get more rotation than if I don't. So that's kind of like these 3 baseline ones. You could call them, you know, positional breathing, resets, whatever you wanted to call them. And then from there, we're going to start going into some flowy stuff. But first of all, too, you know, this is a big one for me. Just for I would say my back feeling good, spine health, the cat-cow. Usually I actually have a band, right, on my hands that will run across my low back. But I tend to do this, if I have more time, I'll do this slower, right? So think being in an extended position looking up, and then I'm gonna one vertebrae at a time. And that's the thing, you'll see people kind of like really rush through this. One vertebrae at a time, I'm gonna start flexing my spine. So a lot of kind of like mind movement connection here. All right, so I'm trying to get every part of that low back slowly to full flexion. This feels like a nice stretch too. Once I'm in this position, I'll guess what I'll do again. That breathing, right? So exhale, inhale into my low back. Do a couple breaths, and then I'm slowly gonna come back down and extend every vertebrae, right? And for a lot of you, you may feel like your low back's kind of locked up, and it's because it is. And so doing this very deliberate, I'd rather you do like 3 to 4 reps very deliberately, right? I'd go right back into it, but slowly, right? I'm thinking about every single vertebrae flexing, right? And I just go through that sequence. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit now, right? I inhale, exhale, come back. So again, think about taking through that 4 to 6 times. If you go super slow, you know, when I had a back injury, I'd do those like 1 rep back and forth would probably take me 2 minutes, maybe more, just really thinking about every part. But I promise you this, you'll get up and be like, damn, that feels better, right? And that's the whole goal. The whole goal is for everything to feel better. Now, so from here, we start going into a little bit of flowy stuff, right? Child's pose position. So here, this is another one that's great for low back, just opening things up. I'm gonna go all the way to the side, right? So I'm opening up this whole line here, and I'm pushing the opposite way. So I'm driving the hip back, my lats, my QL, obliques, everything feels like, woo, opening up. So I get 4 to 5 reps here, pushing my hands into the ground, come to the other side. Same thing. We start with this one in a lot of our groups. Like first thing when they come in, we'll do some breathing stuff and then go here. And then I'm gonna go into my spinal roll. So hands down, butt comes up, drive through, and then I'm gonna exhale, come here. Drop the hips. And then I even, like I said, doing some neck mobility. Right, a lot of stuff that usually you won't see many people doing that we gotta work on. And then we're just resetting. Right, come back again. And every time you're gonna get some more range of motion. I'm already feeling that opening up. Right, 4 or 5 pumps. By the way, there's no rule on this. I'm sharing, like, again, some of the rep ranges. If you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, For me, this would probably be a 20-minute movement kind of flow on a day like today, right? Push the heels. And then you can also like here, kind of stomp your ankles, open up calf, Achilles. You can shift side to side. Right, then we're rolling through. Again, dropping the hips. Moving the neck. And resetting. And like if something feels good, feels better, you can pretty much do more of it, right? That's what I'm saying. Like if something's like moving good, feeling good, you can move forward faster. Something's feeling tighter and stuff, you can spend more time on it. Right now we're gonna go into some other, again, more flowy stuff as well. And this is like the hip sequence that I really love. So everything's from the 90-90 position. And what I'm gonna do is, number one, actually rotate the thoracic push-up, right? So in that 90-90 position, that's what I call it. I don't know if it's called that. But think about like, I'm gonna have my hands come aligned with the knee and with the hip. And I'm trying to get my chest to rotate as far as I possibly can, right? And if you're stiff here, you might not get as much range yet, right? But like, I'm gonna rotate, right? Hips are still nice down. Even once I'm here, I'm really just trying to rotate. By the way, step one here could just be breathing. Don't do anything, but just exhale. Inhale through the nose. And as you do that, you can see like, oh wow, got more rotation here. Okay, cool, let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Even more rotation. So I might do just breathing here. Like if you don't have this range yet, just breathe in that position. And then this is the thoracic push-up, right? I'm gonna control down, keep that chest tall. Reach, try to keep this knee down. I can even spice it up. Bring this arm out. And come back up. Right, now you can do, I usually go like 3 reps on that with the breathing, nice and controlled. Part 2 in this 90-90 position, I would now go into my hip, right? So maybe better to show it from this angle. So I'm gonna get my belly button, middle of my chest, aligned with the knee, right? And think about like an RDL. So instead of just bending over, like I'm gonna drive my hips back like I'm doing an RDL, I can even use my hand on the leg to give myself some support. And it's like, ooh wee, yep. So this is in my glute now. I'm gonna arch my low back if you're rounded, pack that chin, so just neutral spine, right? I call it a bow and arrow. Like think about the knee moving forward, the hip moving back. So now it's gonna give me a bigger stretch. Whew. Once I'm in that position, I like to create some tension. So 5 to 10 seconds, we push the knee, ankle into the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back up, right? Reset, do it again. Same thing, 3 to 4 reps. From there, again, I just give you different angles. We're gonna get an internal rotation stretch. So I'm going to get upright and turn my belly button out to the back knee. Again, something most people do not work on. I'm gonna turn, stay as upright as I can. If you're tight, you might have to lean back a little bit here, right? But if you can stay a little bit more upright, you do. Right here, ooh wee. So a couple options. You can just hang out here and breathe. I can push the knee into the ground to get some extra tension. So I'm driving, trying to rotate more. Right, you can even rep it. So I'm just going from here and repping, holding for 5 seconds, and coming back, right? Same thing. Again, think like 3 to 6 reps on these things. Okay, I think that's a good amount of time to kind of get us to where we want to go. And then, last but not least, also in this 90-90 position, it's called the bear, right? I'm going to open up and really just try to drive this knee out, push this knee down. So I'm creating that hip separation and coming back down. Right, so we're just getting this movement in this hip. If you're super tight, what you can do is slide that knee in a little bit, right? So I get a little bit more range of motion. Everybody's anatomy is a little bit different, so it might look different. Right, so we do 3 to 4 reps here. And guess what? Then we just switch it up. Boom. And go to the other side, right? By the way, like that sequence in and of itself will make your hips feel so much better. It's not even funny, right? From there, we're gonna go into our kind of Spider-Man lunge sequence, which there's so much stuff that you can do from here, but this is pretty basic, but when I say basic, phenomenal, right? We're gonna go step up here, boom. And in this position, I like to do an elbow to instep, which just means that like, I'm gonna think I'm tall on a string, my back leg's locked out, right? So I'm getting, again, I'm gonna keep changing angles for you guys, but see the lines, right? I wanna try not to keep this knee bent for this specific scenario. And I'm gonna go keep my chest tall, think tall, right? And I'm gonna drop that elbow down to that, to the ankle. So I'm gonna get a big stretch here, right? So I'm gonna big stretch here. And you can see how I'm kind of bending this other elbow, almost like I'm going into a push-up. Then I'm gonna push away and open up, right? And from there, I'm gonna do a couple reps. So whether it's 4 to 5, drop, exhaling. So I'm really getting into that front hip. Right, so I'd rep it for 5, and then I'm in this position, so I'm just gonna go straight into single leg downward dog. Right, keep my hips square. And I can do this, also opening up the hip. Again, this is a little bit more advanced, but it tends to be a nice flow from here. Right, and then we just switch it up and go 4 to 5 reps on the other side, right? The key is, it's not just what you do, it's how you do it, right? Thinking tall, locked out knee, keeping those long lines, exhaling while we're doing stuff. Like, because all of that's gonna make a big difference. And again, this is not meant to be rushed through. It's meant to be done deliberately, and you're gonna feel so much better on that. All right, so let's go adductor. We definitely wanna do some groin stuff here. So adductor thoracic rotation. I'm going to, this is a mistake people make, is they put this hand down and rotate. But what you actually want to do is that same leg that's out, right? Push that one back. So I'm going to push back into this position, okay? And we're going to start off hand behind the head, double whammy. So I'm going to go elbow to elbow, open up. And you're not going to get a lot of movement, but this is like honest. Exhale again, all right? So I'm feeling adductor, and I'm feeling that upper back rotating. From here, I like to do swivels, right? So I'm in this position, I'm going to swivel. So think like the quad here is a rotisserie chicken, and we're gonna go big toe, internal rotation, and just getting movement. Again, try to lock it out. Get 5 reps, and then since I'm here, a couple things. I can go right here, get that big stretch, come back, and I can actually add some movement to my side lunge position, right? What's great about this is that once I'm here, I can hang out in this position, then I'm gonna glide across and just come down, and I'm gonna repeat the whole thing, right? So boom, boom. All right, so pretend I did 5 or 6 here. Bam, we're gonna swivel. Again, there is no golden rule for how much of this I do. Timers are great, right? I usually work with timers because I'm like, hey, this is how much time I have. Walk myself back up. Ooh, that feels juicy, right? I'd glide across, bam, I'd be right back into that next sequence. So imagine I'm doing 3, 4, 5 per side, just like I did, right? So from there, notice we're trying to hit a lot of different things. I'm gonna go into a squat to stand. So we're gonna do a bunch of different kind of sequences from the squat to stand position, which I love because it's training that squat pattern. So I'm gonna hook my feet, pull myself down. So I'm actually creating tension here, right? So pull myself down into the squat to stand position, right? One of the things I like to do is create some tension. So I'm gonna push my knees into my elbows for 3 seconds. Stay very upright. So 1, 2, 3, and then relax. Right, whoop, more range of motion, perfect. From there, adding some type of thoracic rotation. So I'm gonna drive this knee into, elbow into the knee. You can put your hand in your chest and just rotate as far as you can. You can extend your arm if you want to. Other side. Again, adding that thoracic rotation. as much as we can. And then from here now, I can walk myself right out. Boom. Again, I'm going to give you guys more of an angle here. I can go downward dog and then drive to the opposite ankle, grab. Couple of breaths. So I'm working that shoulder mobility, range of motion. Come back. Pull myself through. Ooh, big stretch. Walk myself right back in. Back to the squat, the stand position. And I'm going to come back up, right? So I'm back up, still hooked. Shift. Notice I like to get into these angles. Ooh, that feels good. And I'd repeat that sequence, right? So let's just do it one more time. Over here, pushing in. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Bam, hand on the chest. Rotate. Walk out. Pull myself through. And you can do a couple of breaths there if you want, right? Own the positions so you can stay there much longer. And I bring myself back in. I mean, even just 2 reps of that, my squat feels just so much better, right? It's not even funny. So, but again, you'd probably do that 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 reps, right? Putting on a timer. And the last one for the sequence is going to be a tabletop into a crawl position. And again, like I would probably, if I'm not taking you through this, flow from this, have a timer, flow from one thing to the next, like go through a sequence and go like, oh man, that feels way better. All right, cool. Let me go to this next one, right? So single arm tabletop, I'm actually gonna start in a crawl position to show you this movement sequence, right? So I'm here, I'm gonna step through and then screw the shoulder down, drive up. And I'm really trying to push this to the ceiling. So I'm getting that upper back thoracic rotation. I'm getting a really big pec stretch here. You can even breathe here a couple of times. Watch, so now I'm gonna just come back and other side. Drive up, screw that shoulder down. Just really push this hip up. Couple breaths. Come back. Reset, let's do one more. But notice, like this is mobility, right? Because I want to screw this down, keep good positions. Punch up, reach, upper back rotation. Boom, last one. Bam. Right, so again, we didn't do all the reps on this and have to think it through like that. I'm talking through this. If I wasn't talking through this, if this is a 20-minute sequence, 25-minute sequence, I'm doing all these things. I mean, just right now, everything is moving, feeling better, and that's the whole point, right? And from there, I'd go into some cardio, like again, that zone 2, different implements, right? So airline bike, Jacob's ladder, multi-directional sled, get that blood flowing even more. And that would be my rebound recovery session a lot of days. So make sure you try this out. You can shorten it to 10 minutes. If you got 15 or 20, completely your call. But now you kind of get an idea, and I want you to do it and see how you feel after you do it. Okay, so for more tips like this, to move, feel, perform, look like an athlete, make sure you follow this channel.